After 30 years in service, most people don't retire broke because they earn too little. They retire broke because they made avoidable mistakes. Picture it: the retirement party, the handshake from your director, the applause from colleagues who've watched you grow. You smile, you wave, you feel proud, and rightfully so. Then, silence. The first month without a salary hits differently. No alert, no credit, just a number that stops coming. Senior staff who retire comfortably aren't lucky. They simply avoided 3 silent traps. Let's talk about what those traps are before it's too late. Investing without saving. Let me tell you about Isabella. 70 years old, 32 years of dedicated federal service. By every measure, she looked wealthy. She owned 2 properties on the outskirts of town. She had money tied up in a small business her son managed. Her colleagues called her Madam Assets. But when Isabella's heart gave out one Tuesday morning and the hospital asked for $40,000 up front, Isabella couldn't pay. Not because she was poor, because every dollar she had was buried in land she couldn't sell overnight and a business that was barely breaking even. She had wealth on paper and a crisis in real life. Her daughter had to pass a hat around the family at 70 after 32 years of service. This is the investment trap. So many senior staff chase returns, land, stocks, business ventures, without ever building a financial cushion first. They confuse having assets with having security. They are not the same thing. Here's the truth nobody tells you at the investment seminar. Saving is protection, investment is multiplication, and protection must always come before multiplication. A plot of land cannot pay your hospital bill at midnight. A business investment cannot cover your rent when your pension is delayed. But a liquid savings account, that can save your life, literally. Before you put another dollar into any investment, ask yourself, do I have 6 to 12 months of living expenses sitting somewhere I can access today? If the answer is no, that is your first investment. Diversify, yes. Build, yes. But never lock away every dollar you own. Because an investment can grow your money, but savings can save your life. The foresight failure. I'll think about it later. Meet 2 men. Same agency, same pay grade. Both are retiring at 65. Raymond started planning at 50. 15 years out, he sat down with a notepad and wrote out what he wanted his retirement to look like. He projected his monthly expenses. He reviewed his pension documentation, not once, but every few years. He quietly developed a consulting skill on the side. He even began practicing a slower pace of life, separating his identity from his title before the title was taken away. When Raymond's last day came, he walked out calmly, curious even. Retirement wasn't a cliff, it was a door he'd been walking toward for years. Then there's Gerald. Gerald always said he'd figure it out later. He was busy. There was always something more urgent. 2 years before retirement, panic set in. He scrambled to verify his pension and found errors that took months to correct. He had no saving strategy, no side income, no plan. His wife saw the fear in his eyes every morning. The man who commanded a department of 40 people didn't know how he'd pay his mortgage in 12 months. Same career, completely different endings. Here's what separates them. Raymond understood that retirement is not an event, it's a phase, and like any phase of life, it rewards those who prepare for it. You must practice retirement before retirement arrives, financially, mentally, and emotionally. Because the day you stop being the director or the supervisor, you still have to be somebody. Plan for that person now. Project your expenses, verify your pension, Build something that earns while you sleep, because the earlier you think about retirement, the less you will fear it. The health illusion. I'm strong, I'll be fine. Director Harold Mitchell was the kind of man people respected the moment he walked into a room. 35 years of service, sharp mind, broad shoulders, never missed a day of work in the final decade of his career. He retired with a healthy pension, a paid-off home, and enough savings to make his colleagues envious. Everyone said Harold did it right. 3 years into retirement, Harold was spending more time in hospital waiting rooms than on the golf course he'd dreamed about. High blood pressure he'd ignored for years. Diabetes crept in quietly while he worked 16-hour days and skipped meals. Knee problems from decades of stress his body absorbed without complaint. Within 5 years, medical bills had consumed a significant portion of everything he'd saved. He had the money, he just didn't have the health to enjoy it. His daughter said something that stops me cold every time I think about it. She said, "Daddy saved everything except himself." This is the health illusion, the belief that because you feel strong today, you'll be fine tomorrow. But the body keeps a record. Every skipped checkup, every ignored warning sign, every meal eaten standing over a desk at midnight, it all accumulates quietly, and it presents its bill in retirement. Here's the hard truth. Money without health is management, not enjoyment. Medical costs are one of the fastest ways to erase decades of careful saving. So get the annual screening, secure health insurance before you exit service, build fitness into your schedule like a meeting you cannot cancel, and budget specifically for healthcare, because it is not optional. Your pension can be calculated, your gratuity can be projected, but your body cannot be replaced. The best retirement investment you will ever make is your health. The 3 silent traps. Now you know them. Isabella had assets but no liquidity. A medical emergency exposed everything she thought she'd built. Raymond and Gerald had the same career, but only one of them planned early enough to sleep at night. Harold had the savings, but his body had been quietly paying a debt he never budgeted for. 3 different people, 3 silent traps, one common thread. Not bad luck, not low income, but neglect. Investing without saving, waiting too long to plan, neglecting the one asset no bank can replace. Here is what I need you to hear clearly. Retirement doesn't ruin people. Neglect does. And neglect doesn't announce itself. It doesn't send a warning letter or show up at your office. It simply waits, quietly, patiently, until the day the salary stops, and suddenly every decision you delayed begins to speak louder than you can. But if you are still in service today, you still have power. The clock hasn't run out. The door is still open. The question is whether you will walk through it prepared or desperate. So before you close this video, I want you to sit with 3 questions. If your salary stopped tomorrow, how long could you survive on what you have right now? Is your retirement built on a strategy or on hope? Are you investing in your money and in your body? Because one day the handshake will happen, the applause will fill the room, and then the room will empty. What speaks next will not be your title, it will not be your position, it will be your preparation. Retire smarter, because one day the applause will stop and your preparation will begin to speak. If this hit home, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone still in service. Drop a comment below telling us where you are in your retirement journey, and subscribe to the Before the Regret channel, because the best time to prepare was yesterday. The second best time is right now.